Every morning, millions of people line up, some in corner cafes, others at global chains like Starbucks or Dunkin', and countless more at trendy coffee shops that pop up on every block. The ritual is the same. Order, wait, sip, and head off to work. The price? Around $5 for a cup. For many, it's nothing, just a small treat to kickstart the day. A tiny luxury in the middle of hectic schedules, something we don't think twice about. But here's the question most people never stop to ask. What if, instead of buying that coffee every day, you saved the money? What would really happen? Let's run the numbers. $5 a day doesn't sound like much. It's the cost of convenience, the price of caffeine, the joy of that foamy latte art you post on Instagram. But if you multiply that by 365 days, it comes to $1,825 in a single year. That's almost $2,000. $2,000 that could stay in your pocket, instead of floating away in paper cups. Now pause for a moment. What could you do with $1,825 right now? For some, it could cover an entire month's rent. For others, it's a brand new laptop, a small vacation, or the beginning of an emergency fund. It might pay off a credit card balance that's been hanging over your head. Or it could be invested in something that grows year after year. This is where the real power of the $5 coffee habit begins to reveal itself. Because the truth is, it's not about coffee at all. It's about the hidden cost of small repeated habits. Now, some of you might be thinking, come on, $5 isn't going to make me rich. I deserve my coffee. Life is short. And you're right. Coffee itself isn't the enemy. But the idea here is bigger than caffeine. It's about the opportunity cost of those $5. What else could they do for you if you didn't let them slip away every single morning? Because money isn't just about spending, it's about direction. Every dollar you let go has potential. The question is, are you letting it work for you or against you? Let's rewind. Imagine the daily coffee ritual as a scene. The alarm buzzes. You're groggy. You throw on clothes, maybe check your phone, maybe scroll social media, and then, almost automatically, you think, coffee. It's not just about caffeine, it's about routine, comfort, identity. For some, it's a status symbol, holding that branded cup while walking into the office. For others, it's self-care. Marketers know this. Coffee shops don't just sell drinks, they sell a feeling. They sell belonging. They sell you 5 minutes of calm before the chaos. And when something feels this small, this normal, the cost doesn't sting. You don't think, I just spent $5, you think, I got my coffee. But if you zoom out, if you start adding it up, the story changes. Here's the thing. Habits are powerful. They're invisible engines that shape our lives, often without us noticing. In psychology, there's a term called the compound effect. Small actions, repeated daily, don't stay small. They stack. They multiply. They snowball into results, good or bad. Your $5 coffee habit is one of the simplest examples of this principle. On its own, it's harmless. But repeated 365 times a year, suddenly it's a financial leak worth almost $2,000. And here's the kicker. Most of us don't just stop at one small leak. We stack habits on habits. Subscription services we forget about. Snacks we grab without thinking. Upgrades we don't really need. Each one feels small. Together, they add up to thousands slipping through our fingers. The daily coffee isn't a crime. It's just the most visible symbol of this pattern. So let's zoom in on that $1,825. Think of it like this. It's half a month of wages for many people, or the cost of a semester's worth of college textbooks, or nearly a year's worth of groceries for a single person if you budget smartly. And when it comes to financial stability, $1,825 can be the difference between stress and breathing room. It could be an emergency fund that covers a car repair or a medical bill, a credit card payment that prevents interest from piling up, seed money for a side hustle, equipment, software, marketing, an investment account that starts building wealth. The point isn't that coffee is bad. The point is that we're trading away opportunity. Now, let's take this even further. Because saving $1,825 in cash is one thing, but what happens when you don't just save it, you invest it? That's when the story takes a dramatic turn. Albert Einstein once called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. He said, "He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it." So let's imagine you didn't drink the coffee. Instead, you put those $5 a day into an investment that grows at 7% a year, the average return of the stock market over time. Year 1, you'd have $1,825. Year 5, around $10,500. Year 10, about $26,000. Year 20, over $76,000. Year 30, more than $182,000. All from skipping a single cup of coffee every morning. Think about that. A daily coffee isn't just costing you $5. It's potentially costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. That's the true price of small habits. Not what they cost today, but what they take away from tomorrow. Why does this matter so much? Because humans are wired to think in the short term. We feel the joy of the coffee immediately. The taste, the smell, the warmth. But the benefit of saving? That's invisible, distant, a future we can't see yet. Behavioral economists call this present bias. We value immediate rewards far more than future ones, even if the future rewards are huge. So we swipe our card for $5 without hesitation. But when someone says, that could grow into $182,000 over 30 years, it feels abstract, unreal, like monopoly money. And that's why millions of people stay stuck. Not because they don't earn enough, but because they don't redirect enough of the small daily leaks. The lesson here isn't to give up every pleasure, it's about awareness. Because when you start to see the hidden price tags of habits, you gain control. You begin to choose differently. You start asking, is this cup of coffee worth the vacation I'm giving up, the emergency fund I don't have, the future freedom I could buy? And sometimes the answer will still be yes, because life is for living. But the difference is, now it's a choice, a conscious trade-off, not an invisible drain.
Numbers are powerful, but stories make them real. So let's step into the shoes of three very different people, each with the same $5 a day habit. Sarah is a 21-year-old college student. She works part-time, barely covering rent and books. Every morning before her 8 a.m. class, she stops at Starbucks. A latte, $5. She tells herself, it's just coffee, everyone does it. By the end of the year, she's spent nearly $2,000. She doesn't notice it trickles away cup by cup. But when her car breaks down in December, she has no savings. She borrows money from her parents, adding to her guilt and stress. Now imagine this. What if Sarah had put that $5 into a high-yield savings account instead? By the end of the year, she'd have an emergency cushion. The car repair wouldn't feel like a crisis, it would just be a payment. Marcus is 34, works at a marketing firm, makes decent money. For him, coffee is an office status symbol. Every morning he strolls in with a branded cup in hand. His co-workers do the same. It's normal. But Marcus complains constantly, I can't seem to save, retirement feels impossible. If Marcus invested his daily $5 into a simple index fund, he could retire a millionaire. But because the habit feels small, invisible, he assumes he's broke. Evelyn is 45 and runs a small online business. She's obsessed with efficiency and numbers. She loves coffee too, but she brews it at home for 50 cents a cup. The other $4.50, she invests, every day. She treats it like a tax she owes her future self. 20 years later, Evelyn isn't just comfortable, she's financially free. She has options, she owns her time.
And when people ask her secret, she smiles. It started with skipping $5 coffee.
It's not about coffee, it's about choices. These stories show us something crucial. Money isn't just math, it's psychology. It's about patterns, mindset, and the choices we make without thinking. The $5 coffee is just the beginning. Let's take a look at some other daily habits that quietly drain your wallet. Streaming subscriptions. Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, Spotify. Each one feels cheap. But stack 5 together, and suddenly it's $50 a month, $600 a year. Food delivery, that $12 Uber Eats order, it's not just lunch, it's a $4 delivery fee, a tip, and higher food costs. Twice a week, and you're spending $1,200 more a year. Impulse buys, that $15 gadget on Amazon, the $10 app subscription you forgot about, these micro spends add up to thousands annually. Transportation upgrades, choosing Uber over public transit, premium gas when regular works fine, upgrading your car when the old one still runs. Each one is a coffee moment, a small choice that feels harmless but grows into something massive. Visual representation of financial leaks. Here's the big insight. If you want to build wealth, you don't have to earn six figures. You don't have to invent the next iPhone, you simply have to stop the leaks. Because wealth isn't just about income, it's about retention. It's about directing your money instead of losing it in small invisible ways. Let's get back to coffee. Because this isn't just about saving, it's about building. Imagine you invested $1,825 a year, the cost of daily coffee, into the S&P 500, which historically averages around 10% annual returns. After 10 years, you'd have around $32,000. After 20 years, over $100,000. After 30 years, close to $300,000. Now let's raise the stakes. What if instead of $5 a day, you redirected $10? Maybe coffee plus a snack, or coffee plus that little Amazon buy. Suddenly the numbers double. 30 years later you could be sitting on $500,000, all from small decisions. The math is simple. The implications are life-changing. The truth is, most people underestimate small savings. They think, $5 won't change my life. But the secret of money is that time multiplies small amounts into fortunes. And the sooner you start, the bigger the snowball gets. Now let's talk about something we don't always consider, the emotional cost of small habits. For Sarah, it was stress. No emergency fund meant panic when her car broke down. For Marcus, it was frustration, feeling stuck paycheck to paycheck even with a decent salary. For Evelyn, it was freedom, the joy of knowing her money worked harder than she did. Money isn't just numbers, it's peace of mind, it's options. It's sleeping at night without worrying about bills. So when you choose to spend $5 daily without thinking, you're not just losing cash, you might be losing peace. And when you choose to redirect it, you're not just gaining wealth, you're gaining control. And here's the best part, you don't have to stop drinking coffee, you just have to stop sleepwalking with your money. Maybe you brew at home for $1 instead of $5, maybe you cut back to weekends only. The point isn't deprivation, it's awareness, because awareness is the first step to transformation. So how do you break free from the $5 coffee trap or any daily money leak? Awareness, start tracking. Write down every $5 you spend for a week. See the patterns. Substitution. Don't just cut, replace. Brew at home, or find cheaper alternatives. The ritual stays, but the cost shrinks. Automation, redirect the money. Set up a recurring transfer of $5/day into savings or investments. Out of sight, but working for you. Mindset shift. Don't think, I'm losing coffee. Think, I'm buying freedom, wealth, peace of mind. Small wins, celebrate progress. Watch your savings grow month by month and let the motivation snowball. The goal isn't to live without joy. The goal is to stop trading away your future for habits you barely notice. Because every $5 you save is more than money. It's a declaration. I value my future self. Let's take this beyond the year. Because the truth is, the power of saving isn't in 12 months, it's in decades. Think about where you'll be in 10, 20, even 30 years. Most people don't stop to calculate what daily decisions really mean for their future self. Imagine 3 versions of you. Version A. You never question the $5 coffee habit, you keep buying every day. After 30 years you've spent over $54,000 on drinks that ended in paper cups. Nothing to show for it except maybe caffeine jitters and Instagram stories long forgotten. Version B. You save the money but keep it in cash. You end up with $54,750, a decent sum, but it loses value against inflation. Version C. You invest it steadily for 30 years at an average 10% return. You don't just have $54,000, you don't just have $100,000, you have nearly $300,000, enough to retire earlier, enough to send your kids to college debt-free, enough to start a business, buy a home outright, or donate to causes you care about. 3 versions, same person, same coffee habit. The only difference? Where the $5 went. And here's the part no one talks about. It's not just money you're gaining, it's time. Money buys freedom, and freedom buys time. The ability to stop working when you want, to spend more days with family, to live on your own terms. And all of that can start with something as small as skipping a $5 coffee. Now let's be clear, coffee itself isn't evil. The point of this lesson isn't to shame you out of your latte. The point is to break the myth that small habits don't matter, because they do. They matter more than big dramatic gestures. Why? Because small habits happen every day. They're repeated. And repetition is what shapes your financial reality. You don't go broke from one $500 purchase. You go broke from 100 little $5 leaks. You don't build wealth from one giant windfall, you build it from 1,000 tiny decisions like redirecting $5 a day. When people hear this, they push back. They say, I don't want to live like a miser, life is short. And that's fair. But here's the truth, life is also long. Most of us will live 70, 80, even 90 years. That's decades of small decisions stacking into massive results. So the question isn't, do I want my coffee today? The question is, do I want freedom tomorrow? You can have joy now and later, you just need to choose with awareness. Let's run a simple experiment. Suppose you don't cut out coffee, you just swap. Instead of $5 a day at a cafe, you brew at home for 50 cents. That saves $4.50 daily. Over a year, that's $1,642.50. If invested annually at 10% for 30 years, nearly $270,000. So you don't even have to give up coffee. You just have to give up overpriced coffee. The ritual stays, the taste stays, the savings grow. This is the hidden truth of money. It's not about deprivation, it's about direction. Where is your money flowing? Toward waste or toward wealth? Now let's scale this idea. What if it's not just coffee? $5 daily coffee $1 $825 year. $10 daily lunch out $3 $650 year. $15 weekend delivery habit $780 year. Stack them together, and suddenly, you're spending over $6,000 a year on habits that feel invisible. But if you invested that same amount over 30 years, you're looking at over $1 million. That's the millionaire coffee principle. It's not magic, it's math. Most people don't need a lottery ticket. They don't need crypto to 100x overnight. They don't even need a massive salary. They just need to stop letting small leaks sink their financial ship. Here's a challenge. Tomorrow morning, when you think about buying that $5 coffee, stop for a second. Ask yourself, do I want this drink, or do I want what it could become? Because in that cup, you're not just holding coffee. You're holding options. You're holding vacations, investments, debt freedom, retirement. You're holding peace of mind. If you still want the coffee, buy it, enjoy it. But if you don't, redirect the money. Make your future a little richer. The point is not guilt. The point is choice. Because most of us live on autopilot, handing away wealth without realizing it. But once you see it, once you truly see it, you can never unsee it. So here's what I want you to do right now. Step 1, open your banking app. Look at your last week of small purchases. Add them up. Step 2, ask yourself, what future are these little habits building? Step 3, pick one habit to redirect, just one. Maybe it's the $5 coffee. Maybe it's a streaming subscription you never watch. Maybe it's random delivery fees. Redirect that money. Automate it into savings or investments. Do it for 30 days. Watch what happens. Because the secret of wealth isn't dramatic, it's daily. It's the small decisions you make over and over until your future self thanks you. One small step, one redirected habit. That's where wealth begins. And maybe, just maybe, it starts with your morning coffee.